everybody, and welcome back to KF&JF podcast. I'm telling you guys, we have two people on our show today that is going to just light us up with information. You know how that works. So I'm so happy to have them on. So, you know, every time you guys come and listen to the show and watch the show and give us the feedback on each and every one of our guests, we really do appreciate it. And today I like to make sure that you guys, understand that appreciation. I like to thank you guys for coming to the Joy Be Love, page and purchasing product from us and allowing us to bring people onto the show. That is one of the biggest things that helps us out. It allows us to get out there and research and do all of the different things and do the editing and all the different things that Razak does to help this show works. And so we can't thank you guys enough for that. And we really appreciate it. And you know what else? I like to tell you something else. Let's give a shout out to Razak for all the work that he's been doing, all of the editing he's been doing, bringing these shows together, doing these different things that some people, like to have a good show. So we want to really give him a shout out for that here at KF&JF podcast. And we thank him a lot for that. So let's go ahead on and have him put himself back on the spotlight, ladies and gentlemen.
Greetings. My name is Razak. I am the CEO and founder of United Minority Business Ventures. My purpose is to help small businesses grow. This means I will assist with the creative process and maintenance of your business. The method to achieve results is simply building a deeper relationship with your customers. I do this by forming opportunities to communicate and collaborate with your followers, subscribers, and other business owners. By using a wide range of networking tools, we will have an understanding for building your business profile, what type of social media marketing fits your productivity and your availability, and building your financial profile, branding your services, product, or merchandise. Together, we may also determine what type of license is needed to operate your business. And does your budget permit the ownership of your own domain or buying into pre-existing sites that host your page? I like to drive traffic by managing your website. This allows me to work with you to select posts that create subscriptions, comments, and likes. I also assist by generating comments on other individual business sites or a page that create a dialogue of conversation directed towards your page. I also assist with the creation of the content on your media site. This will be a collaboration of ideas which will reflect on your brand, your work ethics, and the community's need to know what you have to offer them to bring a better quality of comfort to their lives and lifestyle. I can also assist with the writing of content, directing your videos, the editing process, and publishing them on various sites for marketing purposes, advertising, and promotional value.
Yeah, we like to make sure that we tell everybody about the work that Razak is doing and everything. So we really do appreciate that. But as we know, we have a long show and he'll be able to get that in. But right now, we want to take advantage of the guests that we have on our show today,
Yeah.
allow them to be able to talk about who they are. So let's start with this special person here.
Hello, hello. My name is Deirdre Burnett, but you can call me Dee. I am a co-owner in the business of Finer Divas, a online Greek boutique, but we also do multiple in-person events. You can find us at a park. You can find us at a convention for our prospective sororities, Delta Sigma Theta sorority or Zeta Phi Beta sorority. But I'm a co-owner of this company, and my partner is a wonderful person who I've known for now close to 20 years. Close to 20 years. So we decided to go into business after she had a brainstorm idea for us to collaborate and go into business together. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity for us to share our business and share our products with you.
Well, you know what? You mentioned you have a partner. Well, not many people are, are good about having a partner in the business. So let's have your partner introduce herself too.
Hi, my name is Tanyika Bonner, and I am the co-owner of Finer Divas LLC. And as my partner has said, we are, online boutique. We do pop-ups, we do festivals, we do conventions, retreats. Wherever you invite us, we will come and do a booth for various products pertaining to women mostly, inspirational, encouragement, and then sorority type t-shirts. And Dee said it's been almost 20. It's over 20. We've been friends since 2002. I moved to California. So thank you for having us. I really am excited about having this opportunity to share our business with everyone.
Well, isn't that something? You know, one thing you know about a partner, you will get corrected. You know, you will have yourself corrected in time and everything like that. So, yeah, I can tell you guys have been friends for a while. Just the fact that you guys are able to work together so closely. Let me start off with my first question that allow, just to kind of open it up and take a little bit of the tensions away. Tell us a little bit about you that is unique, something that nobody really knows about you, and just talk about that a little bit. I'm going to go this route.
You can't go this route. Something unique. I've been thinking about this question, and I'm not sure. I think most people believe I am very much a very social butterfly. Somebody likes to be out in the spotlight. But the real me, I am more of an introvert. I can be social when I need to, but I prefer to be at home and to myself. And so I don't know if that's what you're saying, but most people would not believe it. They would not believe I like to be at home and quiet, because when they see me, I'm usually out and doing and laughing and talking and being, but that's not what I prefer.
Okay.
Well, that's okay. It's you. So let's see what your partner know you may not know about.
So, what is unique about me? Wow. I'm not going to say unique because that's hard. That is really hard. I definitely like to be in the spotlight. So that's not, that's very different from my partner, which makes us work well. She is more of a behind the scenes, getting stuff done. And I'm okay with being in the front, trying to draw attention or draw uh, future customers or whatnot, right? So I would say unique to us is that we work because we know our roles and we try to stay in our lanes, and we collaborate when needed for our company. So I'm not speaking individually. I'm speaking as our company being unique. We uniquely work well because we know our roles and we play them well.
Good answer.
Well, I guess so. I guess so. So we have to see how all that works as we go through this interview with you and see how well this teamwork is working. So let's talk a little bit about how did you guys come up with the name? Let me know a little bit about you guys working together and how did you come up with the name of the business?
So I like that because there was a story behind the name. So me being a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority and Tanika Batan being a member of Zeta Phi Beta sorority, we both have within our organizations we have names that we identify with. So with Zeta Phi Beta, they identify with the word finer because they are known for being finer women. And with Delta Sigma Theta, we have divas. So we have different categories, and sometimes it's based on your age. So we have dolls, deers, and divas. So we collaborated the two names, Finer Divas, and that's how we came up with our name, and it works for us. She's Finer, and I'm the diva of the organization or of the company, and then we blended together to make Finer Divas. And so what happens, which works great, when we do the different events. So even though we will go to a Zeta convention or go to a Delta convention, we are both there. And we are both there, and we represent our company, but we also represent our organization, our sorority. So I'll go to a Zeta event. Their colors are blue and white. I will go and represent in my crimson and cream. If we go to a Delta event, our colors are crimson and cream, red and white, and she will represent in her colors, which are the blue and white. So when we get our customers, patrons to our table, they then see the connection. They then see the light goes off and says, I see how you got your name. It all makes sense. Finer Divas, the two of us together, working together, making beautiful stuff.
Wow, that is great. I really appreciate that kind of connection. So why don't you, your partner, talk a little bit about how she sees that in her view?
Well, it was kind of one of those things that, like Dee said, I think I'm moving ahead, but I'm going to say it. When we came together, when I came to her and said, hey, I think we should start a company. I think we should start a business. I didn't want it to be just about Zeta. I didn't want, I wanted to make sure it included her interests as well as my interests. So making sure that we have equal stake in this whole venture, and we both feel like we're both invested in it. So that was one of the big things. We wanted something to represent both organizations, not just one, and we sell both. We wanted it to look, even if you look at our logo, we were very intentional on using certain things that will represent both organizations. So if you look at the logo, the Z is capitalized. That stands for Zeta. And then when you look at the D, it has the Delta symbol, which they use the pyramid. If you look at the trim of it, those are pearls. And we both believe in the pearl, and it represents something in both organizations, something different, but they're very significant in both organizations. So we wanted to make sure it was definitely a collaboration and not one side being overrepresented and another one not having representation.
Well, I think that's so awesome that you guys both have kind of figured out how to make this work, being from two different sororities, and having that kind of the expectations for each sorority is different. They're not, maybe they're grounded in one way, but some of the expectations are a little bit different. So bringing that mindset together is something that it takes a lot of partnership to be able to do that. Can you guys talk a little bit about, like, how did your family or friends were able to do they work with you, or how do they see what you're doing in the business? Are they working with you guys, or are they riding with you, or do you guys ride along?
So primarily my family, most of my family are not in a sorority. And so when you're saying supporting us, initially that was difficult to do because they're not. But when we went into having the Black inspirational, the positive affirmations and things of that nature, that's when they were able to maybe, support us and buy t-shirts and things of that nature. Now, my sorority sisters, my local chapter, they have stepped in and pretty much partner with us. Every year we get some type of order for chapter t-shirts or some type of product for a retreat or for gifts for something. So they have definitely stepped in and supported us 100%. And on both sides, her chapter as well. They have stepped in. Her mom buys things from us all the time from the Black inspirational side of it. So when you're talking about support, we've actually been blessed in the fact that the people that we know and love have come around us to support us, to say we see what you're doing and we want you guys to be successful at it.
Right.
How about you in that?
I definitely agree with the family support and even our prospective chapter support. In my family, when we have to travel, and we travel to different places for these conventions, so we're gone, a few times out of the year. It could be once a month, it could be a couple of times a month, but we're actually gone where we are not home. So they support us, they support me, my direct family, in knowing that I'm going away to help build our company and build our customer base, because we want to expand outside of our local area. We're based out of Moreno Valley, California. So we don't want to just be known here in the IE and Riverside County. We want to be known in other states, in other areas, in other, even countries at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of the support that I've received from my family, just being able to, put on a calendar and say, I'm going to be gone for X amount of days because we're doing a event.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get the hassle of not being able to go or having difficulty leaving. I actually have the support and from them to be able to go and take care of our business and help our business grow, because that is the ultimate goal, is for our business to grow even larger than where we are now in just the 4 years that we've been in business.
Right. Right. I hear that. I hear that. Well, let me jump on in here. Could you share a particular moment that you consider a turning point in your life, considering you? Okay, so you said this goes 20 years back when you guys met. So in the aspects of starting your business, when was like the turning point from what your occupation was, I guess, getting out of college and still, I guess, having connections to the sorority, to now making a business?
So what I'll say is I joined my organization 10 years ago. So I'm a baby, considering some others. Tan has been in for, she'll say how many, but I want to say it's at least 26, 27 years. So she's been in much longer than I. She did get in the organization when she was still in college, and I did a alumni chapter, which is after college. So the turning point, I would say, for us is through our friendship. We met at a workplace, but through our friendship, we've had conversations about what do we want to do after this job, after work. What do we want to have for ourselves, build for ourselves, for our family, to leave behind after we're no longer here, right? Something that's generational wealth that we can build and grow on. So as years went on with our friendship, those types of side conversations happen. And I will give this credit to her, because it started with her during the pandemic, 2020. A lot of things changed. We had to change how we lived, how we worked. And it became more prevalent that we needed to do something else. We do not just want to stay where we're working. We want to do something for us that is fun, that is our passion, that is, going to generate some funds, right? So with that, she always remembered the conversations we had about coming together and having some type of business outside of our job. And during the pandemic, different things, different conversations were continuing to be had on what do we want to do, what type of business, what's our passion, what do we want to do that we like, that we love, so that we can put that passion and that joy into doing something that's our own, that's our baby. And she came up with the idea of going into business together. Well, I mean, we both had the concept of going into business together, but what type of business? So with us both now at this point being in our organizations, it was recognized that it was difficult for us to get paraphernalia here locally. We would have to buy it online. We'd always have to go out of county, sometimes out of state. And we wanted to have something here for us, for our individuals who are local to us, close to us, so we didn't have to travel. And that was the starting point of how we began, or how we started with Finer Divas, as far as what we decided to go into business with and what our business was going to represent. I hope that answered your question.
Okay. Yeah. Tan.
She already told the story. I was going to, usually I tell the story, but you went to her first. So she's exactly right, and I will elaborate a little bit. COVID was definitely the turning point for me. Like, getting to this point in my life, you would hear people say you need multiple streams of income. You need to be able to, not put all your eggs in one basket or what have you. So when COVID hit, what people don't realize, at least about me, because how people see me, they think I'm always just on top of it and got everything going. I actually got depressed at the beginning of COVID. Because of so many uncertainties. Number one, I couldn't go to church. That's a big thing for me. That's a big thing. And I went through a short period of depression, trying to just figure out what is going on. When I started to come out of that, or when I came out of that, what I felt like God had given me was that you got to come out of this better. It's not for you to be here, go through whatever this is, and come out the same way you went in. And so one of the things, I don't know if Dee remember, was I was like, let's start investing. So we started trying to figure out how to, buy stocks, and we got on Robinhood, and we did all, I got some sorority sisters together. We had a whole investment club. Like, we're going to teach each other how to do stocks. For whatever reason, that's not something in our Black community that we're taught growing up, is how to work in that realm. So that's kind of the first thing. I was like, okay, we got to figure out some stuff. So then, the idea of we need to start a business. And so for me, it was really a push for, I have to come out of whatever COVID is doing. I have to come out of this better. This time we are at home, sitting here, stuck, can't do anything. You can get better. Saving money, investing money, starting a business, going back to class, or school, or whatever. Something had to happen. Because if not, everybody that died in COVID, everything that went wrong in COVID, all of that will be for nothing. And that's just not how God works. So it was, for me, that was definitely the turning point. It was like something else has to give. We have to do something because we don't know what's coming next, and we need to be prepared financially. I needed to pave a way for my child to make sure he was okay. And that's kind of how the behind the scenes, what was going on in my head, that led to me saying, hey, Dee, this is what we should do. You a fashionista. I could trust you to get the cutest stuff, the finest stuff. and we go do this, right? I can do the business part. You can kind of do the fashion part. We got this. And they kind of just took off from there.
Now, see, now that's what we want to hear. You know, the in-depth thought process, because a lot of people, and I have mentioned, I heard people mention that COVID before, like that was an inspiring time. Even though it caught us by surprise, there was thousands of or millions even, I think, deaths, due to that. It all sat us down and had us thinking, what can I do? To better my life, because once you couldn't go outside and you have to wear a mask everywhere, you worried about who's coughing on you, you worried about who's touching what. You got to, then it's like a fend for yourself. You can't rely on a job right now, because the job is failing. A lot of business where it had shut down during COVID. So, that's a more in-depth of what people are going through even now without COVID. You know what I mean? And what I want to ask you with that, we'll start with you, Tan, is okay, well, or how do you navigate and overcome the challenges, and this if there were, whatever it may be, of being a Black woman in your business when you started it, or even now?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, D. I'm just gonna D. You think about this question too, because I don't, and maybe I don't see it right now. Business wise, I don't feel, and maybe D could point out some things that I'm not looking at. I don't feel at this point in my business that I've necessarily had challenges related to being a Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the challenges we have had is more related to people being willing to share information and network. And I don't think it's because I'm a Black woman, because I'm talking to other Black entrepreneurs, right? I don't think it's that. I think the challenge is more of, don't kick me off the show.
I know what you're about to say.
Go ahead.
I think it's more of Black folk not supporting each other. Almost that crabs in a bucket syndrome. And afraid that if I tell you my secrets, you gonna take all the money. And that's really not a reality. It's enough money to be made. In fact, I'm sorry, but this is who I am. The word of God says, give, and it should be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And I stand on that. But our people don't like to share with each other to help each other achieve. Not all Black folk, but I see that theme running through the community.
Okay.
Right. I would say that challenge has been the biggest one. So when we come across, and what we've learned, I feel like what we've learned is when we know something or we have something, and someone, another business person comes to us and asks us, how to navigate this, or how did you learn this, or where did you get this? We are more open to sharing that information. And it hasn't taken anything away from us. I really feel like we build a network of other business owners as not necessarily friends, but those who look at us and say we were helpful instead of hurtful with them. But we definitely have not had any type of negativeness when it comes to us sharing what we have or what we know, whether it's a company that we've used that has helped, a manufacturer that we've used that has helped. we want to, we want to grow as well as we want you to grow, as the other company to grow. So that definitely has been a big challenge. The other challenge, just again, not as a Black woman in business, but the challenge that we just have to navigate through, that we are learning, is when it comes to licenses, vending licenses, sellers licenses, where we want to make sure that we have them, because every city, if you want to sell in that city, you need to have a license for them. You need to be registered with them to be able to sell your products. Instead of having, say, for example, I'll use Riverside County. You can't just have a Riverside County license. There's multiple cities within Riverside County. And if you want to sell in any of those cities, you have to have a license for each of those cities. And that is the challenge. And that is something we're learning and we're navigating through, because we have to make sure we're doing events, multiple events in that city, to make it beneficial to having a license for a particular city. So that has been a challenge. And each year we are deciding on which city we're going to focus on to make sure that we are participating in different events in that city to make that particular city's license work for us. So that's a challenge that we're continuing to work through.
Okay, well, let's touch on that as you just said it. What licenses are needed per event having a clothing business? Because we asked, I think there was a lot of food vendors and stuff like that. We've been having like that. I know that's something totally different, but what is the licenses that you need for clothing or apparel?
Or you pick one of us? Okay.
You have to have a vendor's license. You have to have the seller's license, the specific city. What is it called?
The specific city is a business license for that city.
Right.
But we also, so we have here in Moreno Valley, we have to have a online business license for Moreno Valley. And we really didn't know that initially, right? So we went through all the process. We became a legit business. We got our seller's permit. We did all of that. And then, we get, I'm going to say a knock at the door, but it wasn't a literal knock, but, we get some information that says, you're operating a business, right? In the city of Moreno Valley. And we're like, yeah, but it's not a storefront. It's online. It's not. And they're like, no, we still need, you to pay this fee to have this online business. And so when we go to do like the different Juneteenths or Black History, Martin Luther King parade type thing, events where we want to set up a booth, most of the time you have to have a license, a Riverside City license to set up a booth. We did one in Orange County. We had to have that license for Santa Ana, I believe, of Santa Ana. Yes. We had a Marietta. So, and these licenses are not cheap. These business licenses for Riverside, it's going to cost us $200 and something. And you say, well, that's not much. It is when you're doing one event. And then to actually vend, they're asking for $200, $300. That's $500. And you
haven't sold nothing.
Right. And you may or may not sell $500 worth of product, because if you want to go back to the challenges, our people does not always support Black businesses and purchase. So when they come, they say, oh, that's cute, but they don't necessarily want to purchase the items at those type of events. They're there for the freebies and the fun. And so you've spent $500 and you haven't sold but $100 worth of merchandise. So it becomes a financial issue for a small business. It becomes a financial issue to be able to do all of those events. So we have to pick every year. We have to pick and choose which Black event we're going to support. We want to do all of them, but it becomes too taxing to do it.
And the reality is, and we're not knocking our customer base. We're not. We're just, the reality is when we go to any Black owned business, whether it is a restaurant, whether it is a clothing store, a boutique, it's across the lines. Someone is always trying to get a hookup, a discount, a freebie. And it's not fair. And, life is not fair. I hear that all the time, but it's not fair that we do that to ourselves, because we don't go to the larger stores and, insist on having a discount or a hookup at the big stores, at the bigger corporations, or the bigger chain stores. We don't do that. So the reason why we bring it up and we talk about it is because the reality is small businesses should be supported even more, because unfortunately small businesses have to increase their prices because of all of the cost that comes into having their business to stay afloat. Now, for us, we particularly and intentionally have our prices low. And when I say that, this is something that me and my partner, we go back and forth on when we talk about prices, how we're pricing our products, because we want it to be reasonably priced for our people to be able to purchase our items and then be able to support us ongoing. But we can't do that and still give you a discount, still look at how, you're wanting the hookup. So when it comes to just small businesses in general, and I'm just speaking across the board, not just our company, we really have to look at, stop asking for these hookups, stop asking for these discounts, support our small businesses wholeheartedly, 100%, so that we can grow. And then we don't have to worry about the discounts. But when it comes to Finer Divas, so I'll get back on there, we intentionally want our prices to be on the lower end of things. And we started out that way, and we've been maintaining it for 4 years, where we have competitive prices, and we stay on the lower end of certain things. And we really try to work with individuals who may, are college students, who are our college customers, who maybe are struggling a little bit more, or don't have the income where they can just buy paraphernalia all the time. We try to come up with product that is cost effective to someone who doesn't have a big bank account.
Now, I'm glad you guys just did all that right there, because you answered the question I was about to ask. I was about to ask about the pricing of when you go to these events right here. And and we had talked to another gentleman a little while back, and so when it comes to the representation of a small Black owned business that's not supported by the community that you're trying to serve, or we bring your advertise your products and your merchandise and your services to, and they're like kind of like walking past you, it takes a lot of determination. It takes a lot of resolve to in the contingency plan, because like you just said, you may be spending more than you even make at these events. And if you are making something, you might just be breaking even, so you didn't necessarily make anything, you just made what you just kicked out. So how do you think that, and this is a question for both of you, and how do you think that Black owned businesses can be better represented in the community, and see if you can think of this in as if we need to inform them right now, because it seems like a lot of people that we're coming across in these interviews, we're all thinking the same. We're thinking like, hey, Black owned businesses, I'm trying to get your support. I'm trying to introduce my ideas to the community, but it seems like it might be other ethnicities that's in the community, or coming. I like to call them tourists. They're just coming from out of nowhere. They're checking out the event, and they might sell your stuff more than the people who are surrounding you, as far as the demographics of culture. And what would you say what would be needed to better represent other black owned businesses?
Oh my God, you kind of what is needed to better represent Black businesses? Is that the question?
Yes, and how can we circulate that and drill that home to our audience, listeners, anybody who's just might even catch the podcast? You know what I mean? And how do we what would you say is needed, or a technique that we can use to start, getting the awareness out? Like, hey, we need to now. I know I asked you the question. We're doing something else, but we had watched. I had watched Black Wall Street a little while ago, and they was rebuilding it and doing all this stuff, and they was going in respirations and stuff like that, and I'm thinking, today's market, vendors, small business, and another person that put it like, you're owning everything. You don't have to, you're not buying into somebody's company. It's all you. You know what I mean? So how do we get the other people in our community to understand that this is what we need to build our own foundations and stuff like that, and represent each other? Like, say, circulate the dollars. You buying for me, I'm buying for you type stuff.
Well, you know what? This is a deep question. This is a real conversation. And I say that because coming from the Midwest, coming from St. Louis, I grew up in a Black community. Everything around me was Black, right? So I come to California and you don't see that. So there's a lot of things lacking in this area because you can't. Okay, what I'm trying to say is you can't start with, it's easy to say, let's advertise, right? Let's advertise, let's have pop-up shops, let's have a co-op type situation. All these, you probably got to go back to the roots. And the roots is a Black community. A Black community that's educating our Black people about being united, about supporting each other, understanding financial, having financial literacy. I can't say certain words, sorry. Having that for our Black community. I was able to get that, right, in St. Louis. I was able to see everything from a Black perspective, and grew up with respecting my culture. It was nothing to have, major Black history type performances and things going on from Dr. King's birthday all the way through the end of February. It's what we did as a Black community. And the whole idea, like Juneteenth, all of that stuff was already pretty much going on. You come out here in the community, Black people are kind of spread out, and the sense of community, the sense of togetherness, the sense of importance of helping each other out is just not there. So it's going to start with, we have to get together as a Black community and educate each other. We have to teach financial classes to our community so that they understand how this works. You always, I'm not gonna say always, but at some point in my life, I've been there where I said, why Black people stuff costs so much, right? Like, you go to a Black, why does it cost so much? I go to another store, it don't cost that much. As a business owner, I understand why things are a little bit higher. We are a small business, and we're trying to give quality products. We will not sell anything that we don't wear. We own every item that we sell, and we wear it. We just don't have it. We wear it. And so it's one of those things that to have those products, the good products, the quality products, it's going to cost. We invest our own money into our business. We don't get the loans like some other people get, right? We don't have access to us extra money. So sometimes those things add into that cost. And we, as Black people, we have to understand that if you go spend $200 or $300 on some tennis shoes, paying $25 for a T-shirt that represents your culture really should not be a problem. So, but that goes to education. It goes to building unity, building respect for your who you are and your culture. I got it, and some people got it in LA. Some, you know, meaning when I say LA, sorry, I'm sometimes I talk like I'm from back home still. Some people got it here in California because you guys had Black communities back in the day, right? You had real. Now I don't see it as much. I don't see that, and I think that's what's missing.
Okay.
Don't kick me out.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with what Tan said. I was born here, born and raised in California, in Santa Ana, California. Yes, we had a Black community until all the Black people moved to Riverside County area, right? So, but my parents are from the South. So I got that type of, I guess, parenting from the South. So I didn't get California raised. I got Southern raised. So those things that Tan is talking about, educating why, educating on why we should spend on other Black companies, businesses, why we should support our own. I got all that. So now that I'm in it, now that we have this company together, I definitely see how small businesses are not successful or not as successful as other companies. I see the struggle with, should I, go cheap or should I go good quality? And sometimes, we don't want to bend in that. So when it comes to our company, we're always going to put the need of better first. So it's hard initially when you ask that question about, what do we do, to gain the representation and all of that. That was hard to really answer, or for me to even be able to answer, because we know that education, learning why, Black Wall Street, why it happened, how it needs to be built, how it's a cultural base, how it's, circulating our dollars within our own community, why that's important. But we have to have more people that understand that and agree with it in order for it to really work and happen now. There are a lot of Black-owned small businesses that are popping up everywhere, which is great. But we want not only our company to last the time, right? We want others to last the time in our community, so that we can show each other that we could do it together, and we don't have to, that whole crabs in a barrel mentality. We don't have to have that, because we can all be successful together.
Mm-hmm. Can I say something really fast before you go to the next question? I just wanted to give an example. We met this pastor just by happenstance. He needed some shirts made out of San Diego. Never met him in my whole life. Somebody I knew we had a new business and knew we were doing quality work. Said, you know what? I got somebody who could probably do it for you. Now, at the time, me and D had no clue. We had no clue. It was kind of like, we gonna make this happen because this is big, right? Like, it's like he wants 40 shirts, 40 polos. Let me get online real fast at one of these vendors and see how much this polo gonna cost. And let me call this other local guy, because at that point I'm not even sure we was pressing our own shirts at that point. Let me call the guy that's pressing our shirts to see if he can make this happen, how much he go charge us to make that part happen. We made this happen, and this man said, I'm giving you all my business. Black pastor out of San Diego. Anytime my church needs to order something, we want paraphernalia, anything from my church, whatever I need, I'm calling you. And he has been faithful over that. We've had, I think it's been like a 2-year relationship at this point that he calls us consistently and says, I need this made. He just called, hey, I got a family reunion. Now it's not even your church. We have a family reunion in December. Need you to make me some shirts. This is kind of what I'm thinking. Tell me what you can do for me. That type of thing, right? Flip side of that is when we were getting started and we needed to find connections before we can get fully established, right? We needed somebody who can literally make our shirts. Here's the design. This is what I want. Can you print the vinyl and press it for us? Literally, can you do that? We need some embroidery. We need this. This is the design. Like, we had the vision and the thoughts, but we could not literally do most of this on our own. And so people would say, oh, I know this guy over here, whatever. It's this big company over here that can do that. And I was very intentional about partnering with Black businesses in order to get that done. And to this day, the person that does our embroidery and stitching and stuff is an older Black gentleman, Moreno Valley. He owns a sports store. Probably wouldn't even think that this is type. He does our stuff on the side for us. If we have some specialty items that we can't print because of the coloring and things of that nature, we have a guy out in, is that Corona? Where's
he's in that's Riverside. That's considered Riverside.
He'll do it right at his house for us. So the thing is, my point is saying, what is needed? People need to be intentional. Does it cost a little bit more for me to ask this guy to do our specialty items? And I probably could go to a major corporation and order it. They'll mail it to us. I probably could. But this is a Black man who's trying to do something. He's trying to have his own business. He's trying to do, I'm going to use those resources because they are here in my community, and we're all going to help build each other. That's just what we do. We collaborated with a few people. They have products, they're trying to get the products off of the ground. Hey, give us some of your products. We'll sell them at our booth to get a run so you can get a feel about how much it's going to cost and how people want it. And then after we do it the first time, if you want to go out with us, you want to split the booth rent, you want to, consignment, whatever, we've done that. We've made that offer to several other new Black entrepreneurs. So being intentional is one thing that we need to do in our community.
Well, guys, I am just, so proud of you guys, just in the conversation we're having right now, because we have so many other questions. But I want to say something that I think to piggyback on what you're talking about. And this is why this podcast exists. What Zaki and I are doing is trying to put that network together. We're trying to go out and get Black-owned businesses, uplift those Black-owned businesses that are out there, that are mom and pop, that are not getting seen. And so when you go to the podcast and you see these other Black-owned business, you can see whether or not you need their service. You can see whether or not, there's something about them that's unique that you might want to help them out. This is what that is the foundation of this show. And that's why we asked to speak to you guys. That's why when I was talking to you, I was trying to make sure you understood that this is the biggest thing that we can do to help each other. Just you talking about why, Black people don't buy from other Black people. We've heard it. Why people are going out to these vending events and people walk about them that's Black. We've heard it. We've heard that also they sell more stuff to people that ain't Black. Even when they sell it, Black clothes or Black imaging, they selling it to other people. That is well known. But education, talking about it, and sharing places to go to where you can get quality work from our people is important. And that's what we're trying to do here and what we're trying to build. I don't want to go too much into because I have a little list of questions here that I have, but I'm going to pass it back to Razak to let him finish some questions that he may have for me. But I want you to know that we are 100% behind that and understand exactly what you're saying. Razak?
Yeah, yeah. What we never know the response we're gonna get. We never know, how big of an impact, making, uh, or I should say, creating this business that you went through, the struggles. I mean, you guys, the questions are kind of in general to just ask the question, but it's for you to internalize and understand that when you're on the podcast, just as he said, that people are listening, people are sitting in the house right now, they're going to see it, and they might be, be thinking, hey, I want to do my business, I want to do something, and they just need that push, they need that understanding of what they're getting into. And so far, it's like, um how should I say, like instructions. I mean, it's like a this might come up, so this is what you do when this comes up. I mean, and if it doesn't come up, well, that's good. I'm happy for you. But I think one of the main things that I hear a lot is, the representation of ourselves. I mean, and like as Keith had just explained, I like the fact that, when it's minority, black, all the ethnicity, all the races, combined. I know there's something that we all go through, but as I always point out, I think we go through something different. What I mean, I think it's different for us. I just feel that way. What I mean, and through the podcast, we're finding out that, it is. What I mean, there's different ways. I like what you had said, Tan, about being in being from a state, in an area, a city where it was, more of a black business. What I mean, black, you're seeing, or at least seeing each other, what I mean, and you guys are, it's an actual community. And then you say you was getting out here, and you didn't see that representation the same way. What I mean, and I think a lot of, I don't want to blame it on media or anything like that, because we all have our choices to make. But I know the education, as far as, we want to unify. Now this is what I always say, like, okay, well, let's take different things, like the Black Lives movement. I always throw them in there, because it seems like, when people were getting killed or something by the police, or all these different things were happening, then it's like, okay, oh, now it's like, okay, Black Lives Matter, now we want to rally together and march and stuff, man, do all these different things and protest about what's going on. But in that movement, I can't recall hearing where it applied a business sense to it. you
Mhm.
know okay, yeah, your lives matter, but what about the businesses of those Black lives? I never really, I can't recall ever hearing them put it in that type of format, in that context. What I mean? So I kind of, I'm thinking, like, as we say different things about the podcast, I'd be thinking, like, in the back of my mind, like when I was started and I got into this, I'll be thinking of that. What I mean, when it comes to Black Lives Matters and minority lives. What I mean, uh, uh, where is the representation of business? Because business is supporting the family. That's your legacy. That's their financial independence. What I mean? That's a whole lot of things. A lot of other people like to preach, hey, we're going to go to school. I got degrees and stuff too, so I know about going to going to school, spending all that time, and then now you got to make something out of this. And a lot of people, they're working their whole lives, like my dad did. He worked himself all the way up until he couldn't work anymore. And then he was ill. He could, what they call that, workers' compensation and all that stuff. He worked until he couldn't work anymore for somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's like, and once you started getting sick and couldn't do different things, they were just like, oh, okay, well, you're fired. You know what I mean? We'll try to compensate you, and then we're going to hire somebody else. You know, so I'm thinking like, you know, in hindsight of what we're going through in the podcast, I think we should just, you know, try to get the message across that, you know, buying from ourselves, circulating the dollars. I know it's easy to say, you know, but as we're building this network, we want to press, you know, the issue for everybody to stay in our group. You know, call on us. You know, different events you guys may be having. We can go out there and interview these guys, or at least, you know, give them some exposure. And when you guys were saying those things right there, I'm already thinking in my head of who we can connect y'all to. You know what I mean? And at least see if they want to. You know what I mean? At least let's bring the conversation up of where you might be able to collaborate. You know, it's up to them, a business, if you want to or not. But at least that door was open to you. At least the introduction was made.
Right.
Well, I like how you, when you both were saying, and on your platform, that you've heard this consistently, you know, from other business owners of some of the same challenges, some of the same difficulties of being a small Black business. So you have the platform to now educate and get the word out, because you've heard it not just from us. Yeah, we don't think we're alone, but because we're not really, you know, talking to other companies, business owners to find out what their challenges are, we don't know for sure, but you've heard it, you know, repeatedly, you know, over, you know, the last however many weeks, months, or whatnot. You know that it's consistent. And you having your list of individuals, of companies to be able to connect and collaborate and all that actually will be definitely helpful to small businesses to be able to connect with others, to collaborate with others, and to be able to build and grow. Because hopefully what you're also hearing from them is that they want to collaborate with other Black businesses, that they're not afraid to share their information. They're not afraid to share, you know, their knowledge. Unlike some, you know, other businesses are afraid to do it because they think it's going to hurt them financially. And we all know it's not going to hurt you financially. It's actually going to help you if you could share your information a little bit more.
Right. A lot of our people in our audience agree. Let me ask you this, and then I'm going to pass it on back to Keith, because I know he got some questions. Okay, so with all that we were just doing and saying, how do you balance your work life with your personal interests and passions?
I knew you were coming to me first.
She is the one to go to. That's right.
I am not the one to go to. Balance. Whew. Like Dee said earlier, our families have really supported us. My son was in his senior year this last year, and I think he probably was like, "Where is my mom?" He would go to his dad's house, and his dad just shot out. We co-parent very well, and you know, his dad was like, "So you gone again?" Okay, he's even supporting the whole vision and dream, right? And so balance is a difficult thing. I have to check my calendar every day to figure out what I'm supposed to do. Back, you know, a few years back, I knew exactly what I had. I don't know. I don't know if it's a Finer Divas event. I don't know if I have a work meeting for my full-time job. I don't know if I need to do my part-time contract job. Sometimes I don't know. So I would say, how do I balance it? I have to have a calendar. And that gets me in order. When you're saying on a day-to-day basis, where how am I keeping balanced on a personal level? I do praise and worship, I would say 95% of the time in the morning. I get up, I put on my music, I spend time with God. I try my very best to have some form of praise and worship. And it grounds me, it keeps me solid. A lot of times when I drive in a car, I don't have music on. If somebody's in a car, I might turn it on for their purposes. No music, because I'm usually trying to keep my mind clear. And or I have gospel music on to help keep my mind clear, because there's a lot of things that I do have to balance in my life. Both Dee and myself, we are caregivers, I guess you would say. You know, she's there for her mom. I have my aunt that I have to manage. So, you know, it's a lot of things that both of us deal with. We sometimes we try to get away. We try to go eat. Dee and I, sometimes we go to the spa. But it's the balance is, I can't 100% say I have figured that totally out, but I'm just telling you the things I have to do in order to stay halfway there. Dee knows when we go out, she's the social butterfly. She know I'm not going to do that. She's going to talk to people. She's going to get the customers to come. She's go, hey, she know I have to sit back, because a part of that is me staying regulated. I don't know. I don't do well with a lot of people, so I like to be kind of back in the background. So there's some things that we know about our personalities that help each other. Sometimes people say, do you do anything? Do you work? Like, they come to the booth because they see Dee doing everything, but they don't realize that between me and Dee, or Dee and I, we know each other. And so she knows that when I'm just sitting back, sometimes I have to take that moment, because when we're on the road, we're on the road. We're gone. We're, you know, like she said, a few times a month. I still work full time, and she's full time, stay home, take care of her mom, and both sides, it's a lot. So it's a lot, and it starts with, for me, praise and worship.
Praise and worship.
So I definitely agree with everything she said. Having the ability to stay organized through a calendar, I have to do it. Yes, caring for my mother, my personal self, with different meetings, with the sorority, with the organization, you know, having a position within my chapter. I have to maintain a calendar, and it's separate calendars, but they come together because I have to check my mom's calendar. I have to check my personal calendar. I have to check my Delta calendar. I have to check my Finer Divas calendar to ensure that I am where I'm supposed to be on any given day and minute sometimes, because sometimes I'm overbooked. That's one thing. The start of my day, you know, I do my best to work out at least 5 times a week, whether that's here at home or at the physical gym. I have to get those endorphins going and out of my body so that I can think and process things that I may be going through or trying to deal with or trying to resolve. So that is a big part of my keeping my head clear, keeping my mind clear, is to actually be able to work out, you know, complete a workout. Yes, we try to have fun. We definitely have to pencil in those fun days with Tan and I. You know, we spend a lot of time together, but we also spend time separate, and we understand that needs to happen as well. She has her set of friends. I have a different set of friends. And it's okay. Sometimes they cross over. Yes. But we have our time together because sometimes we find ourselves again going into a meeting for Finer Divas. What about this? And sometimes we have to take a break, walk away, and then come back. And knowing that, I think we both realize that sometimes, and we know that, so we make it happen. So we create that balance of knowing when we have to stay focused and get things done, and no matter what, we're going to finish this. And then there are other times we have to say, okay, we need to take a break and come back to this tomorrow. And knowing that about each other, again, knowing each other since we've known each other for years, I think we're still learning each other, especially just in the business part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing each other, we definitely know how to give each other a break, but we also know how to come together to help each other stay balanced, whether it's the business or if it's personal. So everything she said, maintaining the calendar, it works wonders. I mean, I would promote a calendar, just to make sure that people understand writing things down, not trying to remember it. You will be more successful with writing things down. When it comes to family life, I have to prepare them. I'm going to be gone in 3 weeks. I'm going to be gone in 2 weeks. I'm going to be gone next week. Constantly letting them know that, don't forget, just because, it's on the calendar. I know it's there, but I need you to know verbally, every couple of weeks, I need to remind you, I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be there, because they still are relying on me, just as, Tan has her family that relies on her. So I think it's to help with the whole balance is the communication that helps, and then just staying organized.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I listen to you guys, and I think about them. I kind of lost my wife about 3 years ago, so I think about that partnership and having to have those different separations, and having to be able to understand each other's needs and time and all of that. And I know how important that is, especially when you come together for business in some way, because we were definitely business partners, for the whole 32 years that we were together. So I'd like to ask you about family. Can you really just give me a little shout out about what's unique about your family in their support of you? Because not everybody rides with them. Even though you got a business, your husband, your son be like, "Mom, that's on you." Or, "Babe, you know what? I'll see you later. Let me know when you get done." So tell me how and what you've learned from that as you guys are building this business together. And you know where I'm going with this, and you know who I'm going to first.
Oh, so my family is probably different. And the reason why I say that is because for a while it was me and my son and I in my household. Uh, his dad and I have been divorced for over 10 years at this point. But like I mentioned, we co-parent, we are friends. So it's almost an extension over that way, if I could say that, because when she was talking about the communication, I have to be able to communicate with him. This is what is going on. When she's saying you got to tell them okay, I leave in a week. Okay, I'm going to bring groceries over so that you don't be overburdened with going extra grocery shopping, because you have, this big boy, my son is 18, at your house eating up all your food. Like, you have to kind of like do all of those things to keep a good relationship and going on between us. So on top of that, my current husband, is a recent immigrant to the United States. So where the ex is supportive in that he comes in and makes sure my son is taken care of when I'm not here, making sure he's doing his duties as a father. He's a very present father, and even has come over here and done things for me when needed, before my husband had immigrated here. So since my husband's been here, he's like, "Babe, I didn't told a couple of my friends that's here that has organizations and groups, and they're like, can you do t-shirts for them?" can they bring you logos and you can, so it's like, you know, he comes right in trying to figure out how can he help grow our business? How can he assist in that? He's gone out with us and help us set up and things of that nature. So it's kind of a unique thing for my household that I have the men in my life who sit here and they are definitely trying to help, trying to encourage. My son goes out with us sometimes to help set up or to you know, lift the boxes for us, or what, you know, what does he do? D help set the tent up, you know, things that sometimes, you know, we're two women, right? We're trying to, if you see us with all this stuff and it's heavy, our bags are like 45, 50 pounds, no lie. And we know this because we fly a lot and we got to keep it under 50 and we barely make it every time. So, you know, sometimes we're like, you know, Josiah, we need you to go. We need you to, we can't lift all of this, you know. And so when you're talking about our families and the support that they give, I think my side is a little bit unique, that it's more than just my household, my husband and my child. I have to include my ex-husband, who I don't know how many people are going to see this, include my ex-husband, because he really does do his part. And it's no hate there. It's no, you're always going to, it's really, okay, this is what we're doing, because he understands that at the end of the day is, we're talking about legacy. We're talking about leaving my child something, or making sure my child has some generational wealth coming and things of that nature. I say my child, our child. So that's my immediate support system here, here locally, and that's how that's what they do to help.
Wow, 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 wow. I know that's I mean, that's got to be a blessing, man. You got two men running around there catering to you, girl. I'm saying, wait, hold up. I don't even want to talk to you no more right now, because I think you got it made, and I'm gonna go over here, man. I tell you, you got two men over there with that.
So I would have to say, the fact that the support that I have, it is my mom and my husband, and it makes it easier to know, one, when I am gone, that my husband is here and he helps to, support my mom. I definitely make sure as much that can be done and cater to her or for her is completed before I leave. But, things always pop up where he has to, and willingly steps in to help her when I'm gone. But when it comes to, the support from my family, we're empty nesters. All our kids are grown adults. So I don't have to worry about, kids here in the home having to cater to them or have things ready for them while I'm gone or getting ready to be gone. It is us. And the fact that I have that ability to do it and not be concerned about things being done here at home when I'm gone is a big relief for me when I am gone. The fortunate thing that I have that, TANYIKA doesn't have right now is that I am retired from the traditional workplace. And so, no, I don't have a traditional 9-to-5 job anymore. Doesn't make me any less busy, because I think I'm busier now. However, it is different. It looks different. So when it comes to, getting that support from my husband, I don't get the grief or the flack of, oh, you're gone again, or, why do you have to be gone so much? No, I prepare him. I let him know. I give him the dates in advance so that, he will understand certain times I'm going to miss events that, we may have as a couple. But it's not a problem, because he knows this business is not just it's not just nothing. It is something to us. It is something we wanted to create for ourselves, but then we want to leave it. We want to have a name for ourselves within our community, within our organizations. We want people to know our names, Finer Divas, and it's Deirdre and TANYIKA who are the owners of this company. So he does not give me a hard time when it comes to us going and working. And, and that's just talking about being gone for the actual events. I'm talking there's prep time before that where work has to be done to get our products prepared and completed for our events. And that's a whole nother question. We'll get into that a little later probably, but the support is there for both of our families because they know what we're trying to do. They know we're not just playing around. They know we're serious about what we want to do with this business and with our company and with our name.
Well, both of you guys have so much information and really real, authentic, and honest views. And